making impacted not only the firm itself, but also, in some instances, national economic achievements and trajectories. Yet the growth of business in America was neither automatic nor predetermined. The idea that business would come to shape so much of American life, altering the very landscape and skyline of the country, would not have occurred to the nation's founders. Nor would Adam Smith, who penned his classic economic treatise, The Wealth of Nations, in 1776, have predicted the rise of business in such a spectacular fashion. In Smith's time, businesses shared none of the characteristics of modern enterprise. No separation of ownership and management, no professional managers, and no corporate bureaucracies. Smith could hardly have foreseen the development of a large, complex corporation like General Motors, which by 1955 had 624,000 employees around the world. By the early 20th century, the United States was frequently described as having a culture dominated by business. In 1929, Pulitzer Prize-winning historian James Truslow Adams published Our Business Civilization, which conveyed the extent to which business had permeated American society. In America, Adams wrote, "Unlike Europe, the businessman finds himself the dominant power in the life of the nation, and almost alone in his control over the direction of its entire life, economic, social, intellectual, religious, and political." He added, "It is a situation that, so far as I know, is unique in history." More recently, the historian Sven Beckert likened iconic classical architecture to the extensive commercial and industrial infrastructure that spread across the United States during the 19th and 20th centuries. While Athens had its Parthenon and Rome its Colosseum, the United States had its River Rouge Factory in Detroit and the stockyards of Chicago. In each case, these structures seemed to somehow capture the essence of these societies. But how did business organizations gain such a central place in American society? What was it about the United States that made the country so alluring to entrepreneurs, both foreign and domestic? How did the United States come to have the largest business enterprises in the world by the early 20th century? Moreover, what was the nature of a society in which business people played such a leading role? Not just in economic affairs, but also in politics and culture. In answering these questions, this book emphasizes several overlapping themes. A capitalist orientation in policymaking that, while at times varying in the extent of government regulation and intervention in the economy, generally favored economic growth. A spirit of democratic entrepreneurship that encouraged people, both domestically and from around the world, to found businesses in the United States. An approach to management that embraced innovation and pursued operation at immense scale. And a financial system that, through investment banks, venture capital firms, and other institutions, enabled the commercialization of new technologies and ideas. All four themes, sometimes in concert with each other and other times in conflict, help explain the growth and trajectory of American enterprise to the present day. Chapter 1. Trade and Empire. By the late 15th century, there are estimated to have been between 50 and 100 million people living in the Americas. About 5 to 10 million of whom were located in the present-day United States and Canada. These indigenous Americans had developed over centuries complex social and economic systems that governed tribal relationships across vast spaces. The arrival of Europeans seeking to find trade routes, colonize, and in other ways gain wealth from these lands disrupted and devastated the balance of life that had existed for millennia.